Hi, everybody. How are you on today? I hope that this day is finding you in good health and good spirit. I tell you, I'm so glad to be able to come back on here with you again on this beautiful day. And I certainly want to thank you for tuning in to me. And welcome to another episode of TJ's Topics. And of course, if you've been watching me long enough, then you know that I am TJ. And I tell you, it is always a pleasure to be with you, no matter when it is or what I'm doing, whatever it is, I'm just glad to be with you. Now, as I'm taping this, we have been celebrating Mother's Day. And it was a lovely day. I enjoyed my mother and gave her nice little gifts and stuff, and she had a good time on today, on Mother's Day. And by the time you see this video, it'll probably be the next day. It may be up on Monday, and that's okay because no matter when you see it, look, even if you don't see it until Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's fine too. It really doesn't matter. I just appreciate the fact that you took the time out of your schedule to sit down and look at me for a few minutes. But nevertheless, I'm so glad for you. And I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to come on today because I had something on my mind and I've been thinking about it for, I guess, the last few days at least. But it's something that I have been paying close attention to. And many of you have probably had the same experience or something similar to it. But what I want to talk about today is discrediting one's life experiences. That's what I'm talking about. Discrediting one's life experiences. And oftentimes I have found that people love to, dismiss or discredit other people's experiences in life for the sole reason that they haven't had those experiences. And I mean, people have a myriad of experiences throughout their lives. Some are good and some are bad. But just because we haven't had those type of experiences in our life, that doesn't give us the right to put others down because they've had those experiences. For example, you take a woman who has been in an abusive marriage or relationship, and she may have been dealing with a whole lot of stress and turmoil. I mean, there's no telling what the man has been doing to her, be it her husband or boyfriend, whoever. And say she wants to share her experience with a friend, maybe her best friend or sister, cousin, or whoever, mother or somebody. And after she shares the story of what she's dealing with and what she's going through with whoever it is she decided to share it with, immediately they start, saying that her situation is probably not as bad as she's making it out to be. And the man she's dealing with is likely not as bad as she's making him out to be. And we call that gaslighting, and that's basically what they're doing. And I think we've all experienced that a time or two in our lives when people have gaslighted us because of the experiences we've had, and though they mean something to us because we were the ones who went through the experience, but they didn't, and therefore it doesn't mean anything to them. And for that reason, they totally dismiss it. They discredit what the person is saying as if to say that they're lying, and how could they possibly have been through something like that? Have you all ever experienced something like that in your lives, where you dealt with something and for whatever reason, the person or the people you shared it with, they simply didn't want to believe you. They look down upon you as if your experience has no validity whatsoever. It's awful. They might consider you a liar because you've shared that with them, that information, and that's one reason why I don't typically care to share a whole lot of information with people about anything, because I've had experiences myself where I've been gaslighted and been discredited. Now, let me give you a really good example of discrediting one's life experience. And this may be a little better than the first one. You take a young person, somebody maybe in his maybe a late teens, early 20s, or maybe 30, who is pretty much just starting out in life, in terms of finishing school and getting a job and getting a decent place to live, something to drive, and even entering a new relationship or marriage, perhaps, and starting a family. Well, you take this old person, somebody will say they're about at least 75, 80 years old, 85 or something. And they've been there and done that. They've had all the men, all the women that they can handle in life. Done slept with some of everybody, including somebody's husband or somebody's wife, and done had babies by them. And I know folks like that, by the way. And they will try to discredit the experiences that the young person is dealing with in their life, their relationships, on their job, or what have you. You may have a younger person who's working on a job, may not have been working on the job as long as the older person has or had when they were working, but they know what they're dealing with. And what they're dealing with is current. But the person who's trying to discredit them and their experiences, their stuff is in the past. They, like I said, they've been there and done that, and they've moved on from that chapter in their lives. Because let's face it, and we have to face reality. First of all, we know none of us came here to stay. We all are just sojourning through this earth. We're just passing through here. We didn't come here to stay forever. And we know we have a time and a season in which to be on this planet. But I can't figure out why so many older people, and this is not to disrespect older people. I have much respect for my elders, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done or whatever. I have respect for them. Now, they expect younger people to respect them, and they feel like they deserve that respect because of their age and their life experience and perhaps whatever titles they hold and knowledge that they have and stuff like that. But my question is, how can they expect to receive respect from anybody, young or old, whoever it is, when they are not willing to give respect. Because remember, respect is something that people have to earn. It's not freely given to anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your title is, what your position is, your financial status. I don't care how much education you have, how many degrees you got on the wall, what kind of licenses and certification you have. No one is going to automatically respect you because you have all that. And just because your age entails a certain number, I don't care if you're in your 50s, your 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. If you don't know how to treat people, and if you don't know how to talk to folk, don't know how to show love and compassion towards your fellow man, then certainly you can't expect to be respected. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So in order for anyone to receive respect, they must first be willing to give respect. And I feel that anytime someone discredits another individual for the experiences that they've had in their lives, and not knowing what that person has been through, or what type of effect those experiences have had on those people, they don't have the right to do that. No one does. So that's why it's so important that people learn how to treat each other, learn how to treat others, and show that kind of love and compassion and decency. So that way, when the tables turn, and those tables always turn, they never stay in one spot. They can be one way today, and they can be flipped around the next, if not the same day. So I tell you, this gaslighting and stuff. And see, here's the thing. Now, we've all been through gaslighting and being discredited by others in life. But it wasn't until I became an adult when I began to hear the term gaslighting and even the word discredit, because I didn't know what that is. Matter of fact, if I recall, I think I was 28 years old the first time I heard the term discredit. And it came from a show I was watching on cable when I was living in my old apartment. And this guy was talking to a couple on there about their marriage, because they had mentioned about their few years of marriage. I think they had been married for like 3 years or so. And this guy, he said that he had been married for 20 years, but he didn't want to discredit, want the younger couple to feel like he was discrediting them because they had only been married for 3 years. But he felt like because he'd been married for 20 years versus their 3, that he had more experience and more knowledge and understanding as to how a marriage is supposed to be. And oftentimes that's the case. And a lot of people, whether it's marriage or whether it's working on a job or anything else, they feel like because they have more experience in a particular thing, that gives them the upper hand over everybody else. And they sort of, poo-poo on those who have less experience and less knowledge in a particular subject. And the numbers in their age are significantly lower than the numbers in their own age. But again, that doesn't give them the right to be that way towards anybody. And none of us should want to be like that in the first place. So that's what I wanted to talk about, discrediting one's life experience. And I could go on and on about that because, like I said, I've been through a lot, and but if I tried to sit here and tell it all on this one taping, I couldn't get it all in. Matter of fact, it would take too long. And if you're watching this, most likely it's on a Monday. And so at the time you're watching it, I may be already at work. And before I get off of here, like I said, and I mentioned this before, but I'm wrapping up my 15th year in the school district. Now, having worked in the school district for 15 years, I feel like I've gotten a great deal of experience when it comes to dealing with different situations and watching things play out. And oh man, being faced with a number of challenges. But even in having 15 years under my belt, that still does not give me the right to discredit or to gaslight someone else because they may not have as many years of experience as I have. Like, for example, someone who's just coming in the door, brand new, don't know anybody, don't know anything. And here I am, got 15 years in, and I go and meet this new individual, start talking to them and asking them questions and stuff. And they tell me this and that. And then I start telling them, well, you don't know it like I know it. You did this and that because, you don't have all the experience and you haven't been, I've been, it's all kind of crazy stuff. And making that person feel like because they're new and they don't know, because I was new once and I didn't know, that their feelings don't matter and that there is no validity in the experiences that they do have. And I'm going to say this, it seems like people, whoever we meet in life and whatever point in our lives we meet them, because they didn't know us before that time we met, when we try to share our life's journey with them, telling them about the different experiences we've had, some of the places we've been, some of the people whom we've encountered, and different scenarios we've gone through and problems we've experienced. Oftentimes, these individuals with whom we're sharing our stories, they tend to have a funny look on their faces, if you ever noticed. And I've been through this many times, even since I've been in the school district. How, sitting around the table at lunchtime, and this is one reason why I never cared to sit around the table with too many people at lunchtime in the teacher's lounge. Or not just since I've been in the school district, but on any job for that matter. I never cared to sit around the table chit-chatting with my coworkers extensively because I know how coworkers are and I know how sneaky and conniving they can be. They'll stab you in your back if you're not careful. They'll grin in your face, yeah, all that, and hoo, ha, ha, and stuff like that. But the moment you get up from the table, then they have something to say about you. See, they'll talk about other folk to you in your presence, but then in your absence, they will talk about you to others. And to me, that shows a lack of respect and total hypocrisy on their part. Because, and for one thing, they're not your friends. That's another thing you have to realize. I mean, it's very seldom we make any true friends in the workplace. Mainly, we're all there to do our job and get our check and get up out of there. That's all we're there for. So anytime you do make a friend in the workplace, consider that a very rare opportunity or rare occasion because it's not often that you make friends with anybody on the job. And look, and for those of you who go to church, and like I said, I go myself some Sundays. I don't go every Sunday because the church just doesn't play that kind of role in my life anymore. I basically go now just to get out the house and so I can wear my clothes and stuff. But I found out years ago that, church folk are not your friends. I'm talking about from the pastor on down. None of them people are your friends because they will throw you under the bus in a hot second. And I know because I've been there, gaslighting you and discrediting you because of your lack of experience. And that's something I've dealt with more than a few times, because it's like there's a competition. They want to see who got the most Holy Ghost and who got all the spirit and who know how to sing the best and who can clap their hands the loudest and who can stomp their feet the hardest and who can run laps around the sanctuary the fastest and who can turn the most flips down the aisle. But I tell you, it's ridiculous. It really is. And I just simply don't have time for that crap. I really don't. It's 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 nonsense. That's what it is. And so for anyone to gaslight you and to discredit you because of the experiences that you've had that they haven't had, that lets you know that those people are not even worth your time. And they're certainly not worth the effort. Have you ever been gaslighted before? Have you ever been discredited by anyone before for your experiences in life? Or been put down because they felt like you were a wuss, you were weak and you were too soft. And see, that's another thing that I've dealt with, being accused of being too soft and not being hard enough like a man's supposed to be and being tough. And see, in the Black community, and this is a big problem in our community, if you're the type of man that's not out here doing certain things, or if you're the type of woman that's not doing certain things, whatever it is, you're discredited for your manhood or your womanhood. They don't see you as being man enough. In the Black community, you're not a man unless you're sleeping with multiple women, got babies by all the women and stuff like that. And you're not a woman unless you're able to pull a man and able to, get all these men to, inseminate you and stuff like that. And even going back to the Bible in the Old Testament, a woman wasn't considered a woman if she didn't have a husband and didn't have children. They considered her as nothing, And you have people walking around here today who still have that same mindset. I mean, it's I can't even describe it. It's awful. It really is. But that's ignorance on those people's part. They're stupid and they don't care to try to learn anything. They're not interested in learning better because when you learn better, you do better. And people ought to want to learn better. I mean, look at here. Now, here we are approaching the month of June. Now, in June, that will be the conclusion of the first half of 2023. Next month, this year will be half gone. And we still got people, look, this far into the 21st century now, and this far into 2023, who are still walking around just willingly being illiterate and being uninformed and, lacking intelligence and not willing to grab a hold to valuable and vital information. I wonder why that is. I guess some people are not bothered by that. Because the thing is, with knowledge comes accountability and responsibility, and everyone is not up to that challenge. So that's why they say ignorance is bliss. So forget those people who discredit you. and your experience in life, your experiences or lack thereof, because they really don't know you in the first place. And if I were you, I wouldn't care to know them because they're really not even worth your time. So thank you very much for tuning in today. And I really do appreciate you watching me on this episode of TJ's Topics. And this was a topic that I knew I had to get out there because it's something that's been on my mind for a pretty good while. Because you have family members who treat you the same way. They look down on you because of your lack of experience and stuff. But hey, it's all good. Just don't even let it bother you. Because one day they're going to need your help. And they better hope that you be willing to lend a helping hand. Because if for some reason you choose not to, then they're going to be, as the saying goes, SOL. And I think y'all know what that means. So thank you again. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe and tell your friends. And I will really appreciate you tuning in again when I come back and do another episode and try to think of something else interesting to talk about. Thank you very much. This is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. It's been doing that ever since I've been in the world. And I know it was doing that long before 1979 when I was born. And it will be doing it long after I'm gone. The round will still be going higher and higher. So always remember that. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.